Day 3 front end creation. Alright, so the first thing I want to do, let's go to wireframe and look at the economy of my wireframes, or excuse me, these curves that I've created for the front end. I didn't put in every last part of the grill in here. I just put in the initial shape. This is all I need. This is where the light will go into. Start using my pen here. Light. I didn't do this. If you have your headphones on, and I didn't do all of this. You don't need that detail, you just need the initial shape, and I tell you that up front so you guys don't go down this road of actually spending that time. Keep it simple, keep it digestible. So a little bit about curving out the front view, since I want to take this time to do that, is like, let's look at this for a moment. What I've done here is I've created a profile curve, and I'll bring this up because some people can run into this issue. I created a profile curve, and this really helps. I'm going to go in here, this is just my profile curve, so I don't really care too much about how many points are in there. Generally you want to keep your points, the good economy. Look at this, look how many points are in there. You don't want it to look like a centipede like this one. It's a lot of points in there to manage. But for my profile curve, I've done that. So I've created this profile curve in here, and as you can see I already have one. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I created this one. And what that does, it allows me to, okay, I know this line is the exact line for the car. So when I created this line from the front, let's turn off my back view real quick. When I created this line from the front, I went ahead and snapped to this curve, and then I just lined it up and snapped down here. So I'll do that. Let me go ahead and hide this curve for the moment. I'm going to snap the curve, come right here, and I'm just going to start making these points. Economy of curves and points right here, not getting too many points, not making it crazy, not making it unmanageable. And then I'm going to come back and snap the curve here. Now let's look at this in perspective. Oops. This will happen. Occasionally you'll get it on the, more often than not, you'll get it on the actual image plane. So I'm just going to go ahead and snap this back. I'm going to lock it in that axis and just hit C and snap the curve. Guess what? This point right here is pretty much accurate. So all I'm going to do is go into my side view, grab this point here, and I'm generally just grabbing this one right here, right in the middle. So I'm going to go back to my side view, push this back, I'm going to bring this curve all the way back. Then I'm just going to walk up, just start lining things up. A couple things you'll notice, like, oh, it's not lining up. That's fine. Then come around it the other way. In production, you don't have time to get perfect guidelines and things like that unless it's absolutely necessary. And if it was, they'll allow time for it in your production, in your workflow. But generally, they don't. And generally, you usually get a sketch, not 4 views. Alright, so what you've seen so far, even with the support of all these other curves, what you've seen so far is that I took my profile curve, which allowed me to find the exact point in space, and then I took an idealized version of what I think is happening with the opening of this intake, this lower intake, and I just started moving points. And when I go into perspective, you can actually see, oh hey, that's lined up pretty well. So just through common sense, I can say this is man-made and it's actually not lumpy like oatmeal here. Couldn't move this forward. and just start cleaning things up a little bit. This is going to be suitable for when I start laying in the geometry, because there's certain tools and there's certain things that I do and teach that allow you to understand mathematically how Maya's putting things together that will fill in these discrepancies. So generally, think about this when you're plotting these things in. So we'll go back to the side view a little bit. I have another curve here. This curve is actually drawn into the front view, comes all the way down here. What I've done is actually done the same thing. I can look at side view. I can look at this curve. Actually, front view. I can look at this curve, draw this in, and then go back to my side view and push this back. I know that in the front space, this line is accurate and lines up, and what it does, it goes all the way through here, all the way to the hood. But when I go to the side view, it gives me the actual 3D space because I'm pushing back. I start to push back, and I'll get this nice curve in space. So keep that in mind. Draw a profile and then use that point as much as possible to create all the other points based off of that. Alright, let's bring up the geometry, show all. For most everybody, you guys should be at this point right here where you have the door. I don't have my door in here. Where you have the hood, front panel, side panel. Everything on the side should be blocked in. Even if you just did this, that would have gave you points today. Because to me, this is the side door blocked in. I can come in and show the client and say, yeah, this is what you're getting, and they're gonna say, that looks like a door. It's not perfect. I expect it to be finished at the end, but okay, you're moving in the right direction. But if I don't give them anything, they're saying, what am I spending my money on? What am I gonna get? Alright, now that we have that talked about, first thing I'm going to do when I'm constructing the front end, this excludes the X6. The X6, I have a different video for that. Your hood is already built in. I'm just going to come off the top of this, of my hood here. And hopefully you guys don't have a lot of detail. And you shouldn't. I'm going to extrude edge and just come straight down. I like to move in big shapes. Big movement. Just grab this and move all the way down. Controlling the flow. I can barely see this. I'm going to X-ray. Actually, I'm not going to go that far down. I think I'm just going to come up. I'm actually going to break this off because the flow is correct now. Come over here. Snap the curve. Let's break this off here. Extract faces. So I have a nice, and the reason why I extract faces is because I have a nice curve coming through that I don't need this edge. And this actually does come through here. Something like that. But I'm going to take it off for right now because we're not going to use that. Delete edge, and now I'm going to use these points to create the hood shape. Let's already have this in. Come down here, snap that, bring this here, and I'm just tracing around this hood. Everything in space should work for me. And I try to keep things as parallel as possible, meaning straight. Going to my perspective view. Some things are looking weird, so let's get that corrected. Let's start that. Alright, that's a good start. I'm gonna bring this down here. There we go. I'm still using that edge to edge ring and split function. Okay, very simple. I'm gonna come down in big bold shapes again. Big bold movement. When I get to this point, I'm going to go all the way down because the front of my car is very simple. After I get to this point, anyone working on an M class, you guys are gonna have some very unique designs on the front of your car. Alright, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and use the enter edge loop tool. Oops. Little lag on my, there you go. And then I'm going to come back here and use it just to tighten this area up. Good. Big movement. Notice what I'm doing, redirecting. I don't do something like this. Although I could and just cut right back in here, but I'm redirecting. I can go if I just want to extrude off of this, make sure that this is going to come up a certain way. I can do that, or I can just do what I just showed you, just redraw back in there. I go this way because then I can mentally control my surface edge flow, my surface flow here. And again, I get into the top hat method, and that's the reason why I'm doing that. That general shape we talked about. Remember this? It's right there. So it's the same type of thinking I'm always thinking about. Oh, okay, when I come around this corner, this is what's going to happen. All right, cool. So just bring this huge shape up here. Just connect it. It's connected. Don't worry about if it's not fitting the pieces right. We're going to make it fit. I'm going to let Maya do the math on this. And this is what I talked about. If you have sloppy curves, just working with Maya's tool set, you can start to make things a lot even. It almost becomes intuitive at that point, where it's like, oh, it's very obvious that these things have to happen. Like, I let Maya do the math over here. I custom made this area right here. Okay, I'm going to bring up my front view here. And I'm going to bring up the actual documents. So you can see how the front view of this is not the same thing, is it? It's a different front end. Alright, so we can see this huge sort of BMW does a lot of aquatic designs, so it looks very shark nosed on the front end of this, so it's very flat. So when I look at that, I say okay, and then come back to how it fades off to the side of here. Huge gap in here. Comes off. Something happens right there. This is all I have to be concerned about. Like, how does this flow into this area right here? Alright, that's all I'm thinking about. So I'll look into that. Now I know this goes back. Go into my side view. Extrude the edge. Line everything up. From the front view. Then I grab this one. I have a sensor on top, which is nice of them to have drawn that in there, but I'm just going to go right over it. It's not that necessary. And I'm going to support the shape. I can either go here, support that shape, and then split it down below, or I can go about right here, which I think I will. This is probably more the desired shape here, because I would have had to have sliced right through here when I wasn't ready for it yet. Probably make a triangle. This is the part where it, I mean, being a good modeler takes practice, and you're gonna have to take your time and model a lot of different things. Move in big shapes. I'm just gonna come right around this. Let's turn off this geometry here, I can't see. So I'm gonna come right around this area and go right here. Let Maya do the math. Just going to the side, see where, wow, look at that. And again, let Maya do the math. Some discrepancies there. See, even at this point, I've gotten into a bit of a situation and said, oh, things aren't connecting and lining up the way I should. That's fine. I'm not going to let it hold me back. I'm just going to work with it and fix it. This looks like it's on this point here. Really good at this point. Alright, let's make one more big movement and then we'll work our way down to the grill. See, I have a lot of edges to clean up and connect right here. I actually could have done a lot more. Let me just go right here. This is an important curve right there, so I definitely want to reflect that. I actually could have just done this big shape here and then made all the, and then work my way from the top, which probably would have been better, because then from the big picture we got more of the top hat right here, and then I could just make that shape right there. To me, that shape is permanently in my mind, and I'm always looking at it, looking for it everywhere. I'm actually gonna just come right here. I forgot, I shut out the other piece of geo and it's already being blocked out for me, so I just need to bring these over. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Let's turn this back on so you guys can see that. Bring this in, and now since we had this from the side panel, let's go ahead and snap that. That's not gonna work. Go here. There we go. Delete this. So join those two. Now I'm just filling in the blanks. That just automatically lines up. And then put all these points in here.
How are you doing
We'll go back through that. Questions been asked on how I'm selecting that and moving that so quickly. Again, the application of using my snapping tools, the understanding of using my snapping tools. So really get yourselves away from doing the UI. Is that I'll quickly select this one, shift select that one. I'm always holding my manipulator here. You notice that? Hold down D, and then I'm snapping to V. So to quickly move all of that. And the importance of that is that, again, you're a fast modeler. It makes you more desirable for employers. Two, who wants to spend all day at work? Now this is what I like to see. Look at this movement right here. This is beautiful right there. Look at that. It's going to go around a circle here. This one comes off of this way. Still supporting all my flow. Alright, lastly, let's just come around here and do the underside of this grill. I'm just going to grab the front end of this and then we can massage it later. Does this come all the way around? Not sure. Yes, it does. Big shapes, big movement, look at that in perspective. Let's bring that forward. This is a little deceptive, and because I drew out these curves, if you look at the front view, you can see all these different lines. My base is all the way down here. I'm actually going to trust the curves that I drew and bring this all the way up. And quickly, we'll just push this forward. A couple different lines in there. I think I got my demo line in there. Let's get rid of this. It's a little wobbly, that's fine. And then finally let Maya do the math. And then I can almost line these up here where these lines go. Sort of necessary, sort of, just in case when I create this cavity here, this space in here, if this geometry has to travel through and come up to here, you know, at least have a space. But no one's going to see behind here, so it really doesn't matter as much. So I'm not going to make it too dense, but I will quickly just go ahead and pop that in there. Leave that as is. And if I hit 3, I know that's going to round out. And let's go ahead and quickly put this line in here. I find nowadays I continue to use the to edge ring and split to edge loop and duplicate more than I use the insert edge loop tool. But I guess it depends on what I'm actually modeling. There we go. Just eyeball this right here. At some point your card is going to be common sense. Got a nice smooth edge that comes across here. Again, notice the economy of polygons I have is not ridiculously crazy. So this is pretty much it. This is my this is the shape blocked in here. And let's go ahead and merge this real quick. You can do what you should do often when you're setting up pieces like this is go to edit. Let me get back to the right module here. Polygons. Go to edit. We're still on animate. Alright, well, edit mesh. Make sure you guys get that. I want update. Alright. It's under edit mesh and it's a merge. I have a marking menu that I created for it. And I just go ahead and hit that. And everything merges. So now my points are together. Exactly what I want. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. This is just block out first pass. This is exactly what you want. The refinement process of it, I'll work with you guys one-on-one since you guys have different vehicles. And then next time we see the front end, I will be talking about lights and the front end grille.